Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this morning. We got our college football preview. It's coming out of the Big Ten. It's the Purdue Boilermakers taking on the number 2 team in the country, the Iowa Hawkeyes. So if you like the video today, please come and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me is a gentleman that played at a high level with the Florida State Seminoles. He was the one that got that program started in the 70s. Not Deion Sanders, not Derrick Brooks, not Charlie Ward. This gentleman right here is the reason Florida State is on the map. It's one of the top programs in the country. And he played 12 years in the National Football League. With one team, let that rest in your mind 1 minute. With one team, the Atlanta Falcons. He's royalty. He's from South Florida. He doesn't let me forget it. Not one time. He said that's where the best footballers played down there. But I have to disagree with him. But that's another conversation. My man, Mr. Bobby Butler. And before you come on today, Bobby, you're going into the living rooms of a fan base that's giving us a lot of support out of our city, Iowa. The Iowa Hawkeyes fan base is living. So, brother, you stepping into their fan base this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great this morning, Vincent. Hey, let me tell you something. The Iowa Hawkeyes fan base got a lot to be proud about. I get excited when I see programs like this who've been on the cuffs, and now you see, where they're heading, and it reminds me of back in those old Florida State days. And I know the excitement that's breathing around that community right now, and I'm excited for them. Listen, they're number 2 in the country, right? They're 6-0. They're 2-0 in the conference. And they're playing against Purdue, a team now, Vincent, that has had their number over the last few years. They're playing Purdue, but they're playing at home. And I don't think there will be a letdown this week. I think that the Hawkeyes, is going to hit a level now. Listen, they've got to protect what they have because, the SEC. See, the SEC can have 1-2 losses and still get in the playoffs. So the Hawkeyes can't have a hiccup. And I think they're ready for it. I think they're ready for it. Listen, let's look at some of their stuff. They have 3 wins over ranked opponents this year. They beat Indiana, who was ranked 17th. They beat Iowa State, who was ranked number 9. And they also beat Penn State last week, which was a historic win for the program, right? And so Alabama was the number 1 with consecutive wins. But now it's the Hawkeyes, number 1 with consecutive wins over a ranked opponent. Now that speaks volumes. That remind me of 1980 when we went to Nebraska. They were ranked number 3. We beat them. The next week, Pittsburgh got the number 3 ranking. We beat them in Tallahassee, and we won out, right? So I'm reminded. So man, I'm excited for this group, man. I think they're special. Hey, listen at this. They won 12 consecutive games. They have outscored their last 12 opponents. Listen at this now, Vincent. 403 to 161, averaging 33.6 points a game. Only allowing on the defensive end 13.4 points per game. Bruh, that's major right there. Not only are they playing offense, but they got a complete team. They lead the Big Ten and ranks 4th in the country in scoring defense. Iowa's total defense, 274.2 yards, ranks 2nd in the Big Ten and 9th in the country. They lead the country. Now this is what I love, Vincent, because this football right here, if y'all know these stats right here, y'all know this football. This is good football. They lead the country in interceptions with 16. Total takeaways, 20. Turnover margin plus 15. Bruh, the Hawkeyes have, listen to this now, 80 interceptions since 2017. More than any team in this country. Hey, listen, they got a special corner up there. I'm calling him out. He might not play this weekend, but I got to call him out because I think he's special. Riley Moss. Riley Moss leads not only the Big Ten in interceptions with 4, but he also is tied in the nation for the league. All right? He's taken 2 interceptions for pick 6 this year. 30-yard and a 55-yard touchdown. They've have a total of 20 turnovers that has turned into 78 points in 2021. Think about that now. the takeaways, the plus, the man, listen, they are a fanatical defense. And I'm going to tell you this, when you see a defense turning the ball over, getting off the field on third down, making big plays when they need to make big plays, Vincent, they're having fun. They're having fun, Vincent. Well, they got a great defense. But on the offensive side, quarterback Spencer Petras, man, he has led this team to 12 consecutive wins. He is 194 out of 324 with 2,226 yards during this 12-game win streak. He has thrown for 17 TDs and only 4 interceptions over the past 12 games. He has an 86% winning percentage as a starting quarterback. So we got a quarterback. To win it all, Vincent, what do we have to have? You got to have a quarterback. All right? They got a great running game with Tyler Goodson, 518 yards this season with 124 carries and 5 TDs in 6 games. Their special teams are on point. Their kicker, Caleb Shudak, has connected 11 of 12 field goals, man, and he's made all his extra points. On defense, Jack Campbell is a linebacker to reckon with. He's been Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week this year a couple times. They just came off a monster win against number 4 Penn State. Now, you know how it is when you have a monster win. Sometimes the next week you have a letdown when you're playing a so-called lesser opponent. But I don't think they're going to have a letdown, Vincent. You know why? Because Purdue has had their number. See, they got to do something this week to prove to the people, hey, look, hey, we're going to see this thing through. Week in, week out, we are going to see it through. Now, on the other hand, the Purdue Boilermakers, they're coming off a bye week, all right, which is good for them because they got a lot of players injured. And so it'll give them time to get their players rested, get them healthy, get some of them healthy. All of them not going to come back and play. And they can get more prepared because they got that extra time, all right? But here's the problem. Purdue can't run the football. So therefore, their quarterback is going to be under duress. They've got the number 1 first-string running back out. The number 2 guy may not play. So they're scrapping for running backs and a running game. They can't run the ball against our Hawkeyes. And so they got problems, right? And so, and now what you can do, I mean, you can't run the ball. Guess what they can do on defense? They can pin their ears back and go get that quarterback. So, hey, listen, man, I'm going to say this. The Hawkeyes are going to perform extremely well this weekend. It's going to be a blowout win. It's going to be a blowout win. I got the Hawkeyes winning this game 45-17.
Well, BB, you know I love you being on this video with me today because we talk so much about the schools down south. Mm-hmm. So I want to bring you over to the Hawkeye Nation. Mm. One question I want to ask you is this right here, is that you kind of had a little bass in your voice, man. And I'm not trying to start nothing, so don't get upset with me. You said Alabama was number 1 last week, correct?
Right. That's right.
You put that emphasis on was.
Was. That's right.
So
past tense.
Okay. So are you saying Alabama is maybe steps back now when you say was?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Because I know, and you know, Alabama probably won't lose another game this year.
Yes, sir.
All right. But here's what I do love. I love to see a team like our come out of nowhere. Now, what they got to do, Vincent, you and I know this. They got to take care of the rest of their business. They can't have a let up because the Big Ten won't have a team that's 1 or 2 losses in the final playoffs. Alabama can have 1 or 2 losses. Well, they can't have no more losses now. But Georgia, right, the new number 1 ranked team, can lose to Alabama in the SEC championship and find themselves still in the playoff hunt, right, and playing Alabama again. And so that's the thing. So I'm telling you right now, pin your ears back. Don't look back because you got to be perfect to make things happen for you.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the Purdue Boilermakers. As you said, they've been kind of a nemesis in ours throwing over the years.
Yes, they have.
And a good quarterback, Mr. A. O'Connell. I'm gonna call him A. I'm not gonna call him by his full name. In a loss to Minnesota 2 weeks ago, he went 34-52, 371 yards, a touchdown, interception. But what I like about Purdue is they got a receiver that I think is going to play on the next level. Absolutely. Mr. David Bale, already 7 receptions, 439 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 16 yards a catch. And another thing, I like their head coach, Jeff Braun.
Oh, he's great.
A guy that paid his dues at the University of Louisville. I saw this man play quarterback in college, and he was a pretty good dual threat.
Yes.
He was everything Louisville had back in the mid-'90s at the quarterback position. But what Purdue is going to bring, I want to know if they're going to bring that ghost of the past when they come to Iowa now, because Iowa's ranked number 2. The ghost of the past, number 1, you know they're 7th ranked as far as the engineering school in the country. So hopefully all their students are going to have smarts and won't be no penalties. But it's the past coming. Hank Stram used to be on their coaching staff. It's Matt Light coming back. It's Lenny Dawson coming back. It's Drew Brees coming back. It's Rob Woodson, Chris Dishman. Are they coming through the doors? David Young, Cliff Abram. Are they going to be in Iowa City? Now for the Hawkeyes. Man, I'm so glad I got you on here today because you could talk about a defensive standpoint. But I'm going to ask you a key question that the audience needs to know nationwide. The Hawkeyes have 16 INTs on the year.
Yes, they
That stat you gave 80 interceptions to a 2017. Jack Corner, Riley Mouse, Matt Hankins, Kayvon Merriweather. Nobody's heard of them, but they might be the best secondary on this side of the earth. I know Georgia's got a great defense, but let's right quick talk about the Hawkeyes secondary. Why are they having so much success at this level, man?
Well, let me say this, Vincent, and I don't change. There's some things I believe. First of all, I think when you have a secondary like that, you got great athletes. So let's just, what I got to do is I got to go back and do a little bit more research and find out where these guys are from, because some of them can be from the 5.61. Some of them can be from the 305. You dig what I'm saying, Vincent?
Yes, sir. But Bobby, however, Riley Mouse is a white brother.
Hey, listen. I played with Scott Case.
Yes, sir.
Jason Sehorn, they was in the league when I played.
Yes, sir.
So every now and then,
amen.
Hey, so every now and then, hey, they're gonna show up, right?
Yes, sir.
And take advantage of their opportunities. Hey, listen, man. I think they got a great secondary, man. And like you say, Vincent, I think this could be the best secondary in the nation, hands down. We're gonna see how they finish out, but hands down, I think they are the best secondary in the nation. But at the end of the day, right, it has a lot to do with scheme. It has a lot to do with chemistry. Because I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Back when I played at Florida State, we had one of the best secondaries in the country. And I was the only guy who had so-called talent. But I played with a guy named Monk Bonassar who led the nation in interceptions a couple times. I played alongside a guy named Keith Jones, who probably couldn't run a 4.640, 4.740. But all those guys, to me, could have played in the NFL because they were smart, intelligent, and was never out of position, right? So it's about chemistry, right? It's about chemistry. So you don't have to, everybody in the secondary don't have to run a 4.3. They just got to be true ballers that can cover and can play defensive schemes. Now, along with that, Vincent, it takes another thing to have a great secondary. And what is that? Heat in the kitchen. We got to have heat in the kitchen. Well, we got to blow the exhaust fans. We got to have the fans on the kitchen, because when we have heat in the kitchen, Doc, listen, man, anybody can play in the secondary. And what I love about them, and what shows me that they got a lot of heat in the kitchen, because of the turnovers that they have, Vincent. Quarterbacks are just throwing that ball up in the air, and them boys are going to get it. And so, man, I can't wait to see this defense play this Saturday, man. It's going to be special. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Vincent, they're not going to let down.
The one thing about when you look at great defenses, and it seems like we're going to be talking about defenses for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa going to Penn State last week, a Penn State team that averaged 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
Held them to only 180 yards passing, knocked out their star quarterback, Sean Clifford.
Yes, they did.
4 INTs.
Yes, sir.
That's special, man. And then the thing I like about him, Bobby, you need to apologize because you saw this young man playing high school, Tyler Goodson at North Gwinnett.
That's right.
That means talent all over the state of Georgia, all across this country.
All across this country, bro.
And he carrying the load for Iowa.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
Final words, man. You already gave us a score 45-7. Final words about the Iowa Hawkeyes ranked number 2 going against the Purdue Boilermakers.
Well, let me say this, Vincent. Back in the day, you and I about the same age. Back in the 70s, there's a group out of Ohio made a song called Fire. I say the Iowa Hawkeyes are on fire. Remember that. They're on fire. I think it's their time. I'm excited for them. Like I said, they remind me of us in the late 70s, early 80s, when Florida State was just getting it, put together some good years before that. I think now they're ready to run. I'd love to see them play out well and end up in the college playoff tournament and see them do their thing, man. Go Hawkeyes.
If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We surely appreciate here on 100 Yards of Football. That being said, I couldn't say nothing else. The young man from Florida State University, by way of the Atlanta Falcons, he put it down today. And thank you to the Iowa Hawkeye Nation for giving us a lot of support over the last few weeks. Man, y'all got a special football team that can do some things and get into the college football playoffs. And to be honest, this is going to be a dangerous team. And Kirk Ferentz, you got it going on in Iowa City, baby. God bless. If you like the video, please come in and share it. Thank you, Mr. Bobby Butler. I'm Vincent Turner, and we are 100 Yards Football. And final thing to our producer, the youngest member of 100 Yards Football, Mr. Logan Landers. Thank you, sir, for working today for us. God bless. And enjoy the rest of the week here on 100 Yards of Football.